Come and dream with me.
Hello and welcome to What Do You Want to Watch? The Explosion Network's premier media podcast. Every week we get together to talk about movies, TV, and online content and help you answer the question, how did a man get exposed? No, how did a man get arrested for indecent exposure and not have the dude popcorn bucket involved? Blew that joke. I'm your host, Ash Subley. Joining me today, Dylan Blatt.
Don't cut any of that. That was too funny. The perfect pausing, that was great. Perfect.
Okay. Yes, today we'll be talking about what's in watch history, going over some film news, given this week's top 3, and given some thumbs to trailers. I'll kick things off and talk about that movie in which a man got arrested. Love Lies Bleeding, the latest film from Rose Glass. Yeah, the director of Saint Maud. This one,
right? Saint Maud, huge fan. You'd be.
Oh, massive fan. No, I'll admit I haven't seen this. I'm not a big fan of religious movies, and movies about religious figures. So,
fair enough.
Stars Kristen Stewart and Katie O'Brien. Kristen Stewart plays a gym manager in small town sometime in 1989. And Katie O'Brien plays a woman, a hitchhiker who comes into town and starts working out at a gym, and they become they start a relationship together. Unfortunately, Kristen Stewart's father is a terrible, a drug smuggler, or he's in some sort of crime group, or he's the head of some sort of crime group. And he and Kristen Stewart have been estranged in some way. But Katie O'Brien gets a job at her father's gun range after having sex with Dave Franco in a car in a parking lot. Before they meet, to be fair. This was a really interesting film. Obviously, very much a thriller vibes. Kristen Stewart really fantastic in this. I think from reports, this is the first thing she's done since Spencer. And this might be the best thing I've seen in her so far. Really funny at times, really scary at times. She's really captivating performance here. Katie O'Brien, fantastic as well. Obviously, people would probably know her from her couple appearances in The Mandalorian as one of the Empire figures, officers, and that kind of stuff. She's really fantastic. Obviously, she's a very different body type to a lot of women that we see on screen, so that's really cool to see on screen. Obviously they're very into their queer romance here. Lots of provocative sex scenes and that kind of stuff. But it never feels exploitative or
I hear the sex scenes completely the same.
It never feels exploitative or anything like that. And then the thriller vibe goes off because Dave Franco's character is Kristen Stewart's brother-in-law. Kristen Stewart's sister, played by Jenna Malone, and Dave Franco, it's pretty clear, is beating Jenna Malone's character. Even though they have multiple kids and that kind of stuff, is
taken after his brother.
Just not going to touch that one. So then things happen after a particularly serious beating, and they go down this weird road. There's also this interesting element of Kristen Stewart's character introduces Katie O'Brien's character to anabolactic steroids, because she wants to become a bodybuilder and join compete in a big bodybuilding contest. So Kristen was hey, all the dudes here, they start using this stuff to try and get better definition and that kind of stuff. And it has this weird, it introduces this weird body horror kind of element to the film where it feels like it's got like a weird kind of anti-superhero kind of element to it where it feels like she's getting superpowers and like that kind of thing. It's very interesting. Really interesting imagery used throughout. Ed Harris plays Kristen Stewart's father. He's freaky. He's like really into bugs for some reason. He's like very fascinated by them, which is like a creepy like element to add. Yeah, there's some really interesting side characters. There's this character Poppy who was like very obsessed with Daisy. She's very obsessed with Kristen's character Lou, because it's well known within the community that Lou is a lesbian. So Daisy is like one of those clingerongers, really wants to get with Lou, and Lou is not interested. And yeah, it has a very interesting ending. That is sure to be divisive. I think my take on it is that it's a metaphor rather than what actually took place in those events. If I can keep it as vague as that. But yeah, it was very interesting. I went to a screening like early on a Friday morning. It was really interesting because obviously I knew going in beforehand what the movie was about, and like it was probably going to be quite queer and that kind of stuff. And as I'm walking in, this elderly lady is parking her walker like at the front of like this before going up the stairs. So she's parked her walker like at the bottom, and like is walking up the stairs to get to her seat like a couple of rows back from the thing. So I watched the movie. Lights come up. She's disappeared. So at some point during the movie,
and you know she's not fast. Like she hasn't left.
No, she hasn't gone as soon as like the credits start rolling.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was gone. So, yeah, I thought that was a very funny anecdote. So that was my thing. So yeah, go check out Love Lies Bleeding. It's really good if you can.
She was just a big fan of
She thought it was going to be another Spencer.
Yeah,
big Kristen Stewart's fan. Thought it was going to be Twilight episode 5.
Yeah.
And that's definitely not what this was. All right. Dylan, you've watched a new movie that's come to Shudder, I'm assuming? Stop motion?
I don't know, mate. It might have been Shudder, but I paid for it.
Okay, so maybe not. You watched a new horror movie, stop motion.
I did. We watched the trailer for it when?
Did we?
A couple weeks ago? Yeah, we talked about the trailer on here. Fucking creepy ass trailer. Remember? You don't even remember this? It's your show, mate.
No, this is actually... I know I mentioned it. I thought maybe I cut that trailer from the list.
Okay, maybe I watched it from the list. Because I remember I watched the trailer because it was in the show notes.
Yeah.
So if you cut it...
I have a feeling it got cut like before the show.
You cut it, but I watched it because you...
It's like a trailer came in the last minute. Yeah.
So really, I only know about this movie because of you.
You're welcome. Or, I'm sorry? Which is it?
No, I really liked it. I thought it was
Okay,
really good. So it's a movie about this woman. She's helping her mother complete her last film as her mother's like heading towards death. They never really fully explain it. It's just like she has really bad like what the fuck do you call where you like bone like fuck, what do you call it? You know, like your bones, and like they tell you off, don't crack your hands because you'll like fucking get
arthritis.
Yeah, so really, really bad arthritis, and it appears like her body's just like slowly giving out, sort of thing. So she can't do any of the stop motion stuff anymore because she can't like slowly move the stuff. So she has her daughter helping her do that. And you can tell it's sort of a toxic relationship. Her mother's very like perfectionist. Her mother's a very well-known stop motion filmmaker. All her friends know of her. Like she's sort of, you know, she's a famous person, right? And you got the daughter trying to live up to the same extent. An accident happens, and then her mother ends up in the hospital, sort of in a coma, sort of thing. And then from there, it sort of spirals as the main character attempts to finish the film at first, but then ends up sort of trying to make and finish her own film. And it's all sort of yeah, it's a very like psychological horror film, but with a very creepy backing, which is the stop motion animation stuff, which is both beautifully well done, like real stop motion animation segments throughout the film. However, they are creepy as fuck. Like it's got this creepy ass clay doll thing and a dude and whatever else. And like it's like as she slowly begins working on the film, the characters from it are coming to life in her real world is the setup, I guess. But without spoiling it, it's a very psychological horror film it's more about like what she's going through and what she's dealing with between her mother and trying to live up to her, and she's got a relationship that's falling apart, and the pressures of to try and finish all these things. The ending was very interesting. I don't think I quite understand it, but it definitely had me thinking about it for a while. So yeah, I think definitely one for a short list of if you like slow burn psychological horror films. It does have the last like half hour, the body horror in the last half hour sort of pushes it. Because I remember like I clicked play and because I brought off iTunes or whatever, it was like saying it's R rated, and like the majority of the film, I was like, oh no, it's creepy, but so far not much is happening. And then the last half hour happened, and I was like, all right, I can see where it got the rating from. So, but yeah, would recommend.
All right. So I watched the upcoming film Roadhouse. It's about to release on Prime Video. Obviously starring Jake Gyllenhaal, directed by Doug Liman. It's a reimagining of the 1989 film, which starred Patrick Swayze. Jake Gyllenhaal plays a former UFC fighter called Dalton Elwood. He just goes by Dalton though. Who is recruited by a Roadhouse owner to come and work kind of security, with her Roadhouse constantly being attacked by a group of men. Them working for like a local crime family, who have their own reason for wanting the Roadhouse to go under or whatever. It's fine. It's enjoyable enough. I mean, Jake Gyllenhaal is pretty good. He plays kind of against. I've never, to be fair, I've never seen Roadhouse, but from reading for the description, they've changed quite liberally a lot of the stuff. Like, there's very much the basics of he goes to a roadhouse. This one is set in the so I can't remember something Keys, but I think the first one is set in Missouri, right? So it's the middle of like it's landlocked. This one is definitely more Florida ocean based. So there's a lot of going out in the ocean and that kind of stuff. A lot of water beyond like the lake that was in the 1989 movie. That's an added element. Yeah, Jake Gyllenhaal plays his character is kind of like tormented by mistakes he made in the UFC. He's constantly remembering his like last fight in which he like did some pretty bad things, which have haunted him. And obviously, he's since changed and tried to remain calm and not want to fight anymore. But like put himself like the way Frankie, played by Jessica Williams, meets him is like he goes to like a local bar or whatever that's holding a like winner, like having a challenge, I guess, fight where the fighter will just take on anyone who comes in like all night, and if you beat him, you win all the money. So he just enters, and like because of his reputation, the guy just quits because he doesn't want to risk it. The guy, played by Post Malone, very brief cameo. So yeah, he's got a very interesting personality, which is very endearing. But yeah, he goes and fights off a bunch of goons. Them working for what's the actor's name again? Billy Magnuson playing a bad guy. What a shocker!
Is it Billy Madison?
Magnuson.
Close.
From
yeah.
I'm trying to think of a movie you would remember him from. He was the douchey friend in Game Night. And he was the bad prince in Aladdin. Yeah, that's I feel like he's played a very similar character in a bunch of stuff. Anyway, yeah, I mean, Jake Gyllenhaal's fun. Conor McGregor plays like the wildcard villain who comes in, and he is just. It feels like he wanted to do his thing, and Doug Liman's like just got out of his way. He's just a full-on psycho, giving some of the corniest lines you'll imagine. He's introduced like leaving I want to say Spanish apartment completely naked and just walking down the street, and then beating up a guy in the middle of the road to get their clothes. You know,
Why not?
You know, it is most amusing. To me, his most amusing trait is he doesn't know how to use brakes. It seems because he's constantly driving places and he doesn't stop. He just crashes into stuff. But yeah, I think he's very amusing and definitely makes it worth checking this out. I think some of the fights are quite well choreographed. There's some interesting camera work and that kind of stuff. There's at one point there's like a fight with Jake Gyllenhaal's fighting Conor McGregor, and it's from a first person kind of perspective of Jake Gyllenhaal. So that's something I don't recall seeing. Yeah, I think it's pretty well choreographed.
Complaints or
no, I haven't.
Remember I said that I saw a bunch of people complaining coming out of whatever festival it played at, saying the CGI was bad.
Maybe I wasn't particularly looking for it, or I was distracted by a massive name on the screen. I guess like some of the there's like car crashes and that kind of stuff.
Okay.
Potentially there, or like cuts between stuff, or like people getting flung out over places. Yeah, they're really good. Arturo Castro is fantastic. This is the funny little one of the gang members who's like super positive and nice, and like doesn't feel like he should be in the gang. And Daniela Melchior plays like the love interest doctor, as you'd expect in a Roadhouse movie. So yeah, Roadhouse on Prime Video this Thursday, 21st. It's releasing on Prime Video. So I would recommend checking it out. It's a fun time, if you're into, fun action movies. I think this is a solid release.
I like fun.
Yeah.
How's Lucas Gage?
He's pretty good. He's not in a lot, but he's like the security guard who Jake Gyllenhaal kind of takes under his wing a little bit. Not enough, but gives him some pointers about how to not get punched in the face constantly. So.
Oh yeah, that's in the trailer, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. Dylan, I see that you've finally gotten around to watching multi-Academy Award winner Poor Things.
Film.
Yes.
Exquisite.
Okay. Yeah. How much? I know when I talked about it, you knew barely anything about it. So going into this, did you know very much?
No, I know what you told me. Yeah.
Okay.
I knew the twist.
Okay.
Which is
I don't know if
about
it's twist,
20 minutes into it.
like...
But, I mean, it wasn't in the trailer. That's why I didn't fucking know. I don't think it's a twist. It's just, no, that's about all I knew. And then I knew that, stuff.
So, yeah.
I don't know. Anyway, it's really good. I don't know what else is going on. Obviously, it's sort of a bit old. I feel like I'm watching something like 10 years after it came out.
Finally caught up.
It's very good. Everyone's fantastic in it. Made me laugh a bunch. There's really, I think, the best line in it that had me chuckling quite a bit. And then I was watching the YouTube behind the scenes, and they showed the same part of the movie, and it still made me chuckle. Is when she comes in from disappearing, and Mark Ruffalo is like, "Where have you been? You disappeared." That's so good. Just thinking about myself. And then she's like, "Well, I can't just disappear." And he's like, "What?" It's like, "Well, can you? Someone can't just disappear. What the fuck are you saying?" It's so good. I think the delivery. I don't know. Mark Ruffalo is actually probably the most inspired casting for this film. Like it's Emma Stone, obviously fantastic. Like she's all in, committed, and that's what makes it work. But Mark Ruffalo, you would have never picked for this fucking like this type of character. I think. Well, it's like he doesn't usually play like. He's a very like he's a lover, right? He's a fucking. He comes in as
much more
whole,
serious and like yeah.
Much more
positive.
He's fucking hilarious, is what he is. He's a fucking terrible person, like terrible dude.
Yeah, but like in most roles, he's like a little bit more serious.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
positive,
He usually
like,
does serious and whatever.
and in
else,
real
but-
life, he's obviously
yeah,
a
he's a
very
nice
nice
guy,
dude.
right? He's one of Hollywood's nice ones by all accounts. So in this, he's it's just very outside the box casting for him. So yeah, between that and the obviously other great lines like I'm gonna go punch a baby. I don't know, very funny movie. Fantastic cinematography, the production design, the I don't know, like music. This is cinema. I don't know what else to say.
Yeah.
You know,
Where do you sit on
Incredible.
the Emma Stone Lily Gladstone battle now?
It's a hard one, isn't it?
Yeah. You want to act like it was easy before.
It was easy because I'd watched one, so my voting was very easy.
Yeah.
I feel like I could not say, having only just watched this, and I don't feel like I'd need to sit a little bit longer to have some distance to officially say. But yeah, I mean this, very, very, very good movie, funny movie. It's a comedy, right? Like surely
it is. Yeah, it's like a very black comedy, I guess. Okay.
Like his movies are funny usually, but I don't feel
but
like
also
I wouldn't say,
like very dark at times.
Usually he always has comedy in his movies, but like I feel like this one leans even heavier towards comedy, like rather than just having a couple jokes.
Yeah,
it's like a lot of jokes.
There's like a lot of ridiculousness to the situations and that kind of stuff. Obviously, especially at the beginning where she's like first like more childlike, I guess, and like learning different things.
Yeah, Bella, we. Oh no,
I just learned how to make myself really happy.
Yep.
Or whatever. I need to share it with everybody. And just some of the weird stuff and like the hybrid animals that he feels the need to God needs to make
really
and that kind of stuff.
I thought, right.
Yeah.
All the sets and stuff look really good.
And the constant use of fisheye lenses, that was an interesting choice.
Yeah, there's definitely some inspired choices. I think like watching the behind the scenes thing, seeing how cool the sets are, and Willem Dafoe's just in the video talking about how he would just never leave the set, and apparently Yorgos is like Willem would just sleep on the set and you'd just find him in another room because Willem would just go exploring in this like city they'd built basically and just fall asleep somewhere. Sure. And the that paired with the what was I saying? Fisheye. And then Yorgos is saying that he's like the pitch was like a 1930s movie but modern technology. So I guess that's where a lot of the cinematography.
I love the carriages that are electric or whatever, but they've got little horse heads.
Yep. It's a weird world. Very unique weird world.
Yeah. Also, shout out Margaret Qualley for her funny cameo as well.
Is it a cameo? Door. Small role, right?
Small role, I guess. All right. I watched a couple of documentaries this week. I watched Dave Stevens, Drawn to Perfection. So I watched this on Prime Video. So it's a pretty standard production value film, but it follows the life of Dave Stevens, who is best known as the creator of the Rocketeer comics and that kind of stuff. And then it's kind of documenting his life as a comic book artist, working, like just doing art for conventions and that kind of stuff, all the way to obviously making the Rocketeer. He obviously also worked with Spielberg, like doing storyboards for, I don't think it was Raiders of the Lost Ark, but he did do work on the Indiana Jones movies, storyboarding for him, and did a lot of work in film and TV production and in like the artistic side, through to him like obviously doing the Rocketeer, which became like a massive hit, like for comic book standards and that kind of stuff. Kind of talking about him as a person, and like obviously his greatest drawback was his perfectionism, and like he would have pieces of art that he would work on for ages that, as one of his friends said, he like had this one final page that needed to do, and it's like the only thing that needed to be done was one dog's paw. He just couldn't figure out the perfect way to do that paw, so it stayed unfinished.
Dog paw and ink. Put it on the page.
No.
And really, this stressed him out. Such a simple.
Yeah,
choice.
it did. It's really interesting because obviously he had this. He was an artist who had this love of pinning up models and that kind of stuff. Even he would constantly photograph his first wife naked, so he could have drawing references and that kind of stuff. Obviously, he brought Betty Page back into vogue with him putting her in the Rocketeer, that kind of stuff, and kind of following his career and his life, where his life ended with him having cancer that he kept secret from a lot of his friends for several years and that kind of stuff, until he was finally couldn't keep it secret much longer and that kind of stuff. So very interesting dude, very interesting story. I would recommend checking that out. And then the other documentary that I watched, also very similar, was John Farnham, Finding Your Voice, which is the documentary about John Farnham. Yeah. Okay. Here's an interesting question. How much do you know about John Farnham?
He's retired. And retired.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm retired.
as I learned during this film, he has mouth cancer. So
yeah, did you know that? I knew that. Yeah.
No, I probably learnt it at some point, but was completely forgot. And I felt really bad about it because I'm watching this documentary going, it's really shit that they don't have any interviews with John Farnham at any point during this. It's pretty kind of weird.
I feel like the easiest answer to this is, did you ever have John Farnham played in your household growing up?
I mean, the stuff that I feel like the stuff that we know him for, You're the Voice, and
I mean, my parents had live concert DVDs that I'd put on.
Okay.
So I'd hear a fair bit of John Farnham, yeah.
Do you know the song Sadie, the Cleaning Lady?
Yep.
Okay. Well, that was an element of John Farnham's career that I knew nothing about.
I remember
in my mind, it's Whispering. His debut was Whispering Jack, and then his career started from there.
Dad told me the whole story about that song and explained
but
it to
no,
me.
There's a good 20-something years before that.
Yep.
So yeah, obviously this documentary goes through his entire life, from him being discovered, starting as this pop 60s pop singer doing Sadie the Cleaning Lady, this kind of novelty song, which became this massive hit in Australia, and then him struggling to move on from that, him not being able to be taken seriously as a musical artist, post that, despite having an amazing voice and obviously having the look and everything. It chronicles his early manager was very possessive and controlling, and was picking all the songs that he was singing, and I'm guessing during that time there was a lot of covers and that kind of stuff, and was keeping a lot of the money, even to the extent where there's an interview on I'm just trying to keep my investment in check and that kind of stuff. So he's starting his managerial relationship with Glenn Wheatley, which obviously was a key part of his career, and then through to him joining the Little River Band, which that is an interesting story, and that would potentially be a very interesting documentary on its own, of this massive band that they booted out the lead singer and then got another lead singer in, and obviously that didn't work either long term and that kind of stuff, even despite having huge success here and overseas as well. Through to him obviously making Whispering Jack, which was the make or break moment of his career. And then I don't know, did you know that he initially recorded You're the Voice without permission?
Don't know if I know that. No.
Yeah. So obviously they were taking submissions for songs. He's not a singer-songwriter, which was again kind of weird to think of. There was a time where musicians just didn't write their own songs.
I mean, we talk about
I mean,
I still don't.
I feel like a lot of the biggest performers today write their own songs, or it's a bigger percentage.
I don't know, bigger percentage. I mean, a lot of the rock bands definitely did back in the same year as him. I'd say he was an outliner, not writing his own songs.
Yeah,
70s, 80s and stuff.
Yeah, so he got a demo of You're the Voice, and he's I want this song, and the writers of the song are John Farnham, no thanks. And then obviously they just recorded a version, and then they sent it back and it got permission. So that's really interesting. yeah, and then kind of, his career kind of blew up from there and continued on. Really loving tribute. Obviously, this was filmed post like the last year or so. So again, John Farnham.
After his movie and everything, the whatever that movie was called, The Voice, I think. Remember they did that movie, like the actual like acted biopic, yeah.
Okay, I can't remember.
It's like a couple of years ago that came out. I don't know if this is before or after that.
No, I think this was released last year. It probably made in the 12 months prior, because Glenn Wheatley passed away as well from COVID complications, and then John obviously contracted mouth cancer, which was also very sad. So,
he's clear now, by the way. I don't know if they've covered that.
Yeah, but I'm sure like you
don't
know if he wants to be on camera.
There is like there's obviously like there's after effects of that, but he is
he's not dying.
He's cancer free. He's not dying. Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, really good documentary. I would recommend checking that out. That's not just released on a bunch of streaming services, so that's really cool. Dylan, I talked about watching a lot of Dropout content a few months ago, and you've caught the Dropout bug. You've started watching Game Changer.
Yeah, it's so good, hey?
Yeah.
Now, because when you was talking about it, and like I would be interested to listen back to hear, because I remember he was talking about it, I was like, I used to watch a fair bit of College Humor, like their videos, like all through high school and everything like that. They're probably one of the most watched channels I had. And it was that sort of thing where I'm like, actually speaking, I'm like, oh, I never really thought what happened to that like channel. Like, because I stopped watching because I thought their stuff went to shit sort of like years ago. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. So I was like, yeah, I'll check it out. Like I like a good game show when done right. So, and your pitch made them all like the pitch was funny. The pitch of it's a game show that changes every episode with a bunch of comedians. I'm like, that sounds like something I would enjoy. And it turns out that is something I enjoy. So yeah, I haven't watched it all. I reckon I will slowly over time watch it all. But yeah, I watched a little bit of season 1, and I watched all the episodes you told me to.
So you just like, no, I'll just jump to season 6. It's the release.
Well, no, I started season 1. I watched like the first 3 episodes of season 1, and then I was like, cool. I like this show. Season 6 starts soon. I'll watch that.
Yes, and I said the 3rd episode, which I just watched, was Sam Says 3. I'm like, you should watch the first 2 Sam Says versions.
Yeah.
Because then you'll appreciate the escalation.
Yes. So I went back and I did watch Sam Says 1 and 2, which was like season 5 and 4, I think.
Yeah.
And it was, yes, I did appreciate escalation. So that was good. I gotta be, even to the point, I've watched every episode of season 6 twice. That's not a mistake.
Yeah.
I've put them on, like, I haven't like, I watched them once properly, and I've re-put them on in the background to show. I showed one episode to my parents, the Newlywed Game, which they quite enjoyed. Thought it was funny.
Genius,
and then the other ones,
genius setup as well.
And then the other ones I've just had on in the background. I just rewatched them. I wanted to rewatch funny bits. I was like, oh fuck, I'll just rewatch the whole episode.
Yeah.
While I do have the shit in the background. So,
I mean, that's the selling point. Like, there's so many funny bits, and obviously, I don't know if you've been inundated. Like, your YouTube algorithm changes.
No, my fucking Twitter is now inundated
with Game Changer stuff.
Yes.
With the clips.
The clips, yeah, which I don't mind because I watch them when they pop up.
Yeah.
Funny part.
Yeah. So I feel like that's what brought me into watching the Game Changers. So it just goes to show social media is super powerful. Gets you into stuff.
It's definitely a very, very funny show. I think if you like game shows, 100% you'll like this. I don't feel like there needs to be any more of a pitch than that. If you enjoy a good game show, you'll like this. Full stop.
Yeah. I can't say that every single episode is a winner, but the hit rate is very high, especially in the later seasons where they kind of perfect it a little bit more.
Well, I got to be honest, like so far, especially like season 6 so far, second place couldn't have been worked out more perfect, I think, without spoiling that episode. How that plays out is perfect for the contestants they had. So good. Newlywed Game was just a lot of fun, obviously, because the thing with this show is I think half the reason it works is because everyone's comedians, apart from I guess some celebrity guests and whatever at times, but everyone's comedians, and they do have banter with each other because they all sort of know each other most of the time. But then this one's funny because they obviously have in their partners who don't usually appear on screen. And then Sam Says 3 is the way that plays out and the way that ends is very funny as well. So
Man, incredible.
Yep.
Incredible ending. So yes, check out Game Changer on dropout.tv, or you can subscribe on YouTube.
I've subscribed via their app. The actual Dropout app or whatever.
Okay. All right, that's everything in our watch history. Let's move into some film news. Biggest story this week. In a dramatic turn of events, Neve Campbell is returning to the world of Scream. The latest twist for a franchise is that just several months ago appeared to be on the ropes. Campbell's return is particularly noteworthy as she sat out Scream 6 over a salary dispute with producer Spyglass. Campbell announced on Instagram that in addition to her return, franchise godfather Kevin Williamson will direct. Williamson is creator of the franchise, penning the script to Wes Craven's original, as well as 2 and 4. Guy Busick, who wrote Scream 2022, Scream, and Scream 6, will take over writing duties from James Vanderbilt, who is busy directing the feature Nuremberg. Of course, the 7th installment of Scream has faced multiple setbacks, including losing star Jenna Ortega, the high-profile firing of star Melissa Barrera, and the exit of director Christopher Landon. Dylan, is this a move that could save Scream?
No. I don't care, and I'd consider myself a big Scream fan. So, yeah, I mean the franchise is dead to me. So,
I mean, I think it's interesting. It's a very cynical move. Like it's like it was the only move they could do, really, realistically,
it was their
to
fault,
win
right?
some fans back, and there will be a large portion of fans who won't come back because of what they did to Miss Ferrer. I'm sure there's a large contingent of fans that will happily come back because they didn't like the direction of these past 2 films, crazy as that may seem. And hoping Neve Campbell gets whatever she's owed and that kind of stuff. How do we feel about Kevin Williamson coming back? That's the interesting element of this, because as far as I can tell, he has not directed a film since Teaching Miss Tingle in 1999.
Right. He's not a director. He's a writer. So, no one wanted to touch it, so this is the only dude they could get the sign on. I mean, let's boil this down, right? So they find Melissa Barrera.
Yes.
So go watch. Instead of supporting Scream 7, I'd highly suggest go watch
Abigail.
Abigail, yes. Go watch that.
And Melissa Barrera's got a bunch of movies coming out this year, apparently.
She has another horror movie, I think, too. I can't remember what it's called though. She's becoming a Scream queen, so go support her. What the fuck is it called? Hold on. The One. Here we go. It's got Nicholas Hoult in it as well. And then something else, but I don't know. So go watch that. But let's boil down events here. Hey, so director leaves project. Melissa Barrera fired. Director leaves project. I like that director also. What's his name? I can't remember. Anyway, I like him. And
Crystal Landed from
sound like Donald Trump just said. Anyway,
Double Your Death Day. No,
yeah, Happy Death Day and Happy Death Day to You. They're both good movies. And
Happy Death Day 3
and and that other one with Vince Vaughn. They're
freaky.
They're fun movies, right? So I was excited for him to be the director. I thought he definitely fit the bill for Scream. They now says fire her, right? Then you have half the writers leave. Sure. Okay, cool story. Then we got Wednesday leaves. Jenna Ortega, right?
Jenna Ortega's
like, oh, scheduling conflicts. Even though the movie's now been delayed because of all this shit. She's like, oh, scheduling things. I can't come back. No. My girl left to support Melissa Barrera. I will not hear otherwise. We have not confirmation of any of the other people from Scream coming back. Jasmine, Savoy Brown, everyone else.
Well, I mean, can they come back if the other 2 are not involved?
No. So
it feels like you just need to start from scratch. If you're
what I
going to...
would suggest for them is cancel the movie and move on. Let's all move on with our lives. Scream 6 was a good movie, and I think that was a great way to end the franchise.
Yeah. I mean, to me, they should have just, like, we'll just put this on the back. We'll let this franchise rest for a little while.
You either accept you were a bunch of
Wrong.
fuckheads and you come out and publicly apologize and beg for Melissa Barrera to come back, or you don't make this movie. Okay? They're the two choices I've got for you.
Yeah, I can't... In my mind, they should have just waited, like, until, for a while at least, like a couple of years, It just feels like they're kind of rushing to make... to and I understand why they want to, like, keep this cash cow running,
Yeah, they've had a couple good years.
They've like banged out
and
two movies in 2 years.
Who fucked that for them? Themselves. All right, good job, fuckheads. Good job, losers. Spyglass Media, you bunch of fucking losers.
To play devil's advocate, the idea of them exploring Neve Campbell's character and the focus being on her, now that Sydney's, last we saw of her, she's like living in LA or something with a family and that kind of stuff.
She's over. I don't care about her character anymore.
She has kids,
Who gives a fuck? Move on.
That could be interesting. But yeah.
You know what movies, when I was interested in Sydney? Scream 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay?
Yeah. Hopefully she got paid a lot though. Yeah.
Well, I mean, she hasn't got paid yet because they haven't made the movie yet, and there's still time for them not to make the movie.
That's true. All right. I
can't believe I've gone from such a stan of this franchise to now on this podcast.
So like, it's dead.
Fuck this shit. Anyway,
well, I'm not surprised.
That's life.
That's how quickly things can change.
It's crazy.
That was the most major story this week. There's a bunch of smaller news because every week there's just so many projects to get casting announcements or news or like announced. So we'd like to cover a segment I like to call "Would You Want to Invest," which I list off a bunch of different projects to Dylan, and he decides if he would like to partially invest, fully invest, or not invest in it based on any criteria that he deems fit, and then history will be the judge if he's right or wrong.
I'm not investing in Scream 7.
Well, luckily that's not on the list, so.
Next question.
All right. Kick things off. I've got a few this week. Marielle Molino has been tapped as a female lead opposite Austin Stowell in CBS's Young Gibbs drama NCIS Origins, a prequel to the venerable procedural, which has a straight-to-series order for the 2024-25 broadcast season. Narrated by Harmon, the CBS Studios produced show begins in 1991, years prior to the events of NCIS, and chronicles Leroy Jethro Gibbs' younger years.
Leroy Gibbs! All right, move on. Yeah.
In the prequel, Gibbs starts his career as a newly minted special agent at the fledgling NIS camp Pendleton office, where he forges his career as a gritty ragtag league. On a gritty ragtag team led by NCIS legend Mike Franks.
I'm not investing. Doesn't sound like anything I'd have any interest in.
I don't know. There's NCIS film shows. They get views.
I don't want your dirty money, right? I don't want your dirty bullshit shit show money. Movie adaptation. Move on.
Okay,
you can't be fired up bringing up Scream now, man. Like, negative energy in you.
Jim Broadbent, Jamie Demetrio, Lars Ardner, Grace Edwards, Patsy Farron, Isla Fisher, Greta Gerwig, Theda Graham, Josh Hamilton, Eve Hewson, Stacey Keach, Nicole Malecki, Emily Mortimer, Louis Partridge, Alba Rohrwacher, Charlie Rao, Parker Sawyers, Alba Rohrwacher, Kyle Solar, and Patrick Wilson round out the cast of Noel Baumbach's upcoming untitled next film at Netflix. They join previously announced cast members George Clooney, Adam Sandler, Laura Dern, Billy Crudup, and Riley Keough in the film Bombach is directing and co-wrote the script with Emily Mortimer. Plot details are vague at this time, other than it's being a funny and emotional coming-of-age film about adults.
Yeah, fully invest. I forgot half the people's names you just said because that went forever. But yeah, sure. I'm in. Fully invest.
Yeah.
I'm in based on the director and I guess the writer. I mean, I don't know Emily Mortimer as a writer, but sure.
Yeah. Interesting collaboration.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess he Greta Gerwig act again? Sure.
I mean, she acted in his last one.
Yeah, but I feel like it's been a while, hey?
2 years?
Yeah, but I didn't like White Knight much. So, actually forget
So hopefully this next one's good, so I can
hopefully this next one's good.
say she acted again.
Yeah.
A24 and Star Thrower Entertainment have partnered on director David Frayne's romantic comedy Eternity, with Miles Teller, Elizabeth Olsen, and Callum Turner in talks to star. Frayne will direct the film with Teller and Olsen executive producing. A24 will finance produced with Oscar-nominated producers Trevor White and Tim White under their Star Thrower Entertainment banner, which is best known for producing The Post and King Richard. Pat Cunane wrote the script, which appeared on the 2022 Blacklist. Plot details are being kept under wraps, but the film is said to be a romantic comedy where everyone must decide who they want to spend eternity with.
No, double thumbs down. That just sounds like the plot of The Lobster, but kind of changed.
Wow. Okay.
And that was a good movie.
Yeah, so why wouldn't you want to rip it off?
Sounds like a cheap rip-off.
Zosia Mamet, Michael Engano, and Tommy Martinez have been cast in Peacock's upcoming comedy series Laid as series regulars. They joined the previously announced Stephanie Shu in the series written and edited produced by Natchka Khan and Sally Bradford McKenna. Laid is based on the Australian series, created by Marakek Hardy and Kirsty Fisher and produced by Liz Waters. It follows a woman who finds out her femoral members are dying in unusual ways and must go back through her sex timeline to confront her past to move forward. It's described as a fucked up rom-com where the answer to, why can't I find love? Is there something wrong with me? Is a resounding, yes there is, the problem is definitely you.
I've never heard this before.
Me neither. Apparently it aired on the ABC in 2011.
Oh shit.
Two seasons.
2 seasons, eh?
Cecilia Pacquila.
Yeah, I was about to say that. I looked at the poster, so I was like, maybe I want to watch this now. I don't know what whatever you just said, double thumbs down. But thanks for bringing this up.
Wow.
I might investigate the original Australian TV series, and I'll investigate watching that instead.
Fair enough. Emmy nominee Jurnee Smollett is set to lead the new Apple original drama series Firebug, loosely inspired by events surrounding notorious California arsonist John Leonard Orr. She will star alongside Taron Egerton in the project developed, written, and executive produced by Dennis Lehane. Firebug will follow a troubled detective and an enigmatic arson investigator as they pursue the trail of 2 serial arsonists. Smollett will play Michelle, a rising star detective. Set in the contemporary Pacific Northwest, the fictional series uses as its launching pad some events documented in Truth.media's acclaimed Firebug podcast.
I keep giving thumbs, I've realized. This segment,
yeah.
Even though that's not really what I'm supposed to be
Well, you've done double down, so I can gather what that means.
Yeah, so I'm just going to continue that. I'm changing it. I'm going 1 up, 1 down.
So partial invest.
Look, if that's what you want to say it is, then yeah, partial invest. Okay, that's up for you to decide.
Those are the options, so
you can read between the lines. Also, Laid is still on ABC iView.
Okay, good.
Just for everyone.
I'll look forward to talking about Laid next week.
Just found it, so you don't have time to watch this in a week. I'm adding it for later, right? Later.
Owen Wilson is taking to the golf course for a comedy series for Apple TV Plus. The Royal Tenenbaums and Loki star is to star in and executive produce an untitled series for the streamer. It comes from Ford v Ferrari rider Jason Keller. Wilson will star as Price Cahill, an over-the-hill ex-pro golfer whose career was derailed prematurely 20 years ago. After he gets fired from his job at an Indiana sporting goods store and his wife walks out of him, Price hedges his bets entirely on a troubled 17-year-old golf phenom.
Double thumbs up. Ford v Ferrari was on TV the other night. So I watched like probably half of it again. What a good movie.
How do we feel about Owen Wilson being credited as Royal Tenenbaums and a Loki star?
I mean, Royal Tenenbaums? Sure. Loki, I guess, because that's the only thing he's done recently.
That's the most recent, yeah. I guess, yeah.
I feel like that's the, yeah.
HBO's untitled Brad Inglesby Task Force project, working title, has 3 new recurring cast members: Owen Teague, Dominic Colon, and Margarita Levia. Mark Ruffalo leads the ensemble as FBI agent Tom. It's a crime drama based on an original idea from the Mayor of Easttown creator Inglesby. The show is set in the working class suburbs of Philadelphia, where Ruffalo's FBI agent heads a task force to put an end to a string of drug house robberies led by an unsuspecting family man.
Yeah, Mayor of Easttown, good. Very good. Mark Ruffalo, very good. Double thumbs up. Maths, you know?
It is good maths.
Good maths.
All right. Following her breakout role in A24's horror hit Talk to Me, Sophie Wilde has found her follow-up project as she is in talks to star in New Regency's Watch Dogs, an adaptation of the popular Ubisoft hit video game. The film is set within the universe of Ubisoft's blockbuster video game franchise of the same name, with over 50 million players. The film is being directed by acclaimed French genre director Mathieu Cherie, from an original screenplay written by Christy LeBlanc, known for writing the Netflix original sci-fi thriller Oxygen. While plot details are being kept under wraps, the popular game is set in a fictionalized version of real-life cities at various points in time and follow different hacker protagonists who, while having different goals to achieve, find themselves involved with criminal underworlds of their respective cities.
I like the idea that Sophie Wilde's sitting at home going, fuck, no roles coming in. Following my huge breakout role and Talk to Me.
Yeah.
It's really, really disappointing. Yeah. Nah. Double thumbs down.
Wow. Can't
No
believe
way.
you hate Sophie Wilde like this. Don't
Definitely
want her
do
to
not
succeed.
hate Sophie Wilde. I think I've watched nearly everything she's been in. However, this Watch Dogs movie sounds terrible.
Harsh.
Sorry. I don't trust Ubisoft.
That's fair.
Yeah. So is that harsh or is that just, fair?
What?
I think it's fair.
I'm trying to think. Well, their animated stuff has been good.
What?
You know? The
Did you watch it?
The Captain Laserblood.
Did you watch it?
Or
Or
no, I didn't watch it.
Yeah, okay, all right.
I was thinking he did other stuff for Ubisoft, but no, that's all Capcom and
Yep.
Army.
Yep.
And then before that, it's just Prince of Persia and Assassin's Creed, which were not.
Yep.
Moving on. Matt Bomer is set to co-star opposite Keanu Reeves, Jonah Hill, and Cameron Diaz in the dark comedy Outcome from Apple Studios. Hill will also direct. Co-written by Hill and Ezra Woods, Outcome follows Reef, a damaged Hollywood star who must dive into the dark depths of his past to confront his demons and make amends after he is extorted with a mysterious video clip.
Here's a very weird, like, what he's picking to direct, I feel, is like sort of all over the place, isn't it? A little bit, Jonah Hill.
Well, I don't know if you can. This was his second film he's directed.
I mean, third?
So I don't know if you can say it's all over the place. It's like
Third?
2 films.
3? I mean, he did a doco. He did mid-90s.
That's
right?
true.
Whatever that doco was called, Netflix. That is
Better psychiatrist.
Yeah. Right. So he's done doco. He's done mid-90s. Now he's doing this, and he did a bunch of music videos in between or some shit.
Okay.
I will say, you know what? Double thumbs up. I like the cast. I like mid-90s. It's a bit of a weird cast, but I like the cast. Who's the other writer?
Ezra Woods.
Who's that?
I don't know.
All right. Don't know if we like them, but otherwise, double thumbs up.
All right. All right. Amazon MGM Studios crime thriller Play Dirty has 4 new additions. Keegan-Michael Key, Nat Wolff, Chukwudi Iwuji, and Thomas Jane. As previously announced, Mark Wahlberg leads the ensemble with Lakeith Stanfield, Rosa Salazar, and Tony Shalhoub also set for roles. Directed by Shane Black, Play Dirty is a project based on Donald East Westlake's Parker novels, writing under the pseudonym Richard Stark, to emerge from a pact between Amazon, MGM, and Team Downey in 2022. The film centers on Wahlberg's professional thief Parker, who, after being double-crossed and left for dead, sees his hunt for revenge bring with it a shot at the biggest heist of his career. But even with the help of his partner, actor/con artist Grofield, he still needs to outsmart a South American dictator, the New York mob, and the world's richest man if he hopes to stay alive.
I'm going to fully invest because Shane Black and Lakeith Stanfield. Yeah. Anyway, that's my answer.
Shane Black, first film since The Predator.
Didn't like it, but you know what? Shane Black falls into a category of directors for me where, honestly, if he puts out a shit movie, my mind may just forgive it.
Well, he's only directed 4 films, so I mean,
he's had a good success.
He's allowed to have one hit and miss, you know.
Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, phenomenal. Iron Man 3, underrated.
Yeah.
Nice Guys, highly underrated, phenomenal film. In a world
incredibly underrated, and all the Ryan Gosling lug of the last 12 months has made people watch that movie, and that's nothing but good news.
In a just world, we would be up to The Nice Guys 3 by now. In a just world.
Yeah. But we're not.
Because over the past 10 years, I have not laughed as much as I have in a cinema as I did watching The Nice Guys. Right? And they did The Predator, and that was a movie. But we're moving on. We're getting to Play Dirty now. So, yeah. And, he wrote some of the classics, man.
Max Greenfield, Uch Agada, and Dane DeLigero have joined Mindy Kaling's Netflix series set in the world of pro basketball in recurring roles. Previously announced cast also includes Kate Hudson, Brenda Song, Drew Traver, and Scott MacArthur. In the as-yet untitled comedy series, when a scandal forces her brother to resign, Isla Gordon is appointed president of the Los Angeles Waves, one of the most storied professional basketball franchises, and her family business. Ambitious and often overlooked, Isla will have to prove to her skeptical brothers, the board, and the larger sports community she is the right choice for the job, especially in the unpredictable male-dominated world of sports.
I'm not going to invest in that. I not a genre I'm particularly drawn to, and it's sports, and this is definitely an Ashley Holby film. It's not a film for me.
It's a TV series, but yeah,
it's whatever. Okay, whatever.
I mean, it sounds like a comedy riff on the LA Lakers story. So, I mean, yeah, I'm gonna watch that.
Yeah, see, hold on.
Chloe Grace Moretz, Lewis Pullman, and Academy Award winner Ariana DeBois have signed on to star in Dutch and Razzle Khan, a heist film based on a true story that will go into production this summer under the direction of BAFTA nominee John S. Baird, who directed Tetris. Logan Miller and Noah Miller penned the script, with Andrew Lazar's Mad Chance on board to produce. Based on the 2022 Business Insider article, The $4.5 Billion Question by Rob Price and Becky Pedersen, Dutch and Razzle Khan is the explosive and unbelievable true story of the most expensive heist in history, with Heather Razzle Khan Morgan and Isla Dutch Liechtenstein, lovers, hipsters, and aspiring rap entrepreneurs at its center. After stealing over $4 billion worth of cryptocurrency, the millennial couple are caught by the Department of Justice and charged with conspiracy to launder the stolen Bitcoin in February 2022.
Yeah, fully invest. Sounds like fun.
To be clear, so as with the story of the Sam Bankman-Fried, the entrepreneur behind the now bankrupt cryptocurrency exchange FTX, the tale of Dutch and Razzle Khan is one that has drawn plenty of interest in Hollywood, leading to development of a number of starry projects. Lily Collins signed on to patrol the latter in Hulu limited series Razzle Khan, the infamous Crocodile of Wall Street, with Amazon announcing development of its film Razzle Khan to be directed by Hannah Mark and produced by Lily Reinhart earlier this year. So this is,
Yeah.
there's 3 projects being developed about the same thing right now. So
Yep. And I would like to collectively say I invest in them, and may the best one win. You know,
can't lose if I invest on all of them. So one of them will be a hit.
Yep. One of them will turn out a winner.
It's like I'm investing in Deep Impact and Armageddon.
Yeah. It's like if I'd invested in all of the Dope 6 stories, you know?
Carl Gullisman has been set as the male lead opposite Samara Weaving in 20th century's heist thriller Eeny Meeny from writer-director Sean Simons. Produced by Deadpool franchises Rhett Reese and Paul Wernick, the film follows Edie, a former teenage getaway driver who was dragged back into her unsavory past when a former employer offers her a chance to save the life of her chronically unreliable ex-boyfriend.
I will partially invest for Samara Weaving.
Patrick J. Adams, star of Suits, the most watched series on Netflix and all streaming in 2023, is returning to the platform with a new show, Lockerbie. He will star opposite Connor Swindells of Netflix's Sex Education, who has been cast as the lead in the BBC and Netflix 6-part limited series. Merritt Weaver, 2-time Emmy winner for Netflix's Godless and Showtime's Nurse Jackie, will also star in the BBC series based on the real events surrounding the 1988 Lockerbie bombing and the joint Scots-US investigation which sought to bring the perpetrators to justice. On December 21st, 1988, Flight Pan Am 103 was en route from Heathrow to JFK when a bomb exploded in its hold over the small Scottish town of Lockerbie, killing 270 people, including 43 British citizens and 190 Americans. It was the worst terror attack on British soil and the first major one on US citizens. Lockerbie will focus on the investigation into the crash on both sides of the Atlantic and the devastating effect it had on the small town and the families who lost loved ones. From the initial exhaustive search for the evidence on the ground in Scotland via the US and Malta to the trial at Camp Zeist in 2000, the drama takes us right up to the most recent indictment at the end of 2022.
Horrible, but yeah, fully invest.
A lot of information there.
Yep.
All right. Last one. Ari Aster, the visionary filmmaker behind horror picks Hereditary and Midsommar and the last year's darkly comic Beau Was Afraid, has locked in his starriest cast yet for his next A24 film, Eddington. Actors set to join the previously announced Joaquin Phoenix include Emmy and Golden Globe nominee Pedro Pascal, Emma Stone, Luke Grimes, Austin Butler, Deirdre O'Connor, Michael Ward, and Clifton Collins Jr. Plot details are under wraps, though the project has been discussed as a Western.
Yeah, fully invest, obviously. What a cast. What an additional. What a collection.
Yeah. I was just expecting you to jump in faster, was all.
Well, I can't. I feel like I can't. Like, I'd love to get excited, but I actually still haven't gone back and watched.
Beau Was Afraid?
I haven't gone back and watched Beau Was Afraid. But I did pick up Midsommar on Blu-ray the other day, so shout outs to me.
Shout outs to. Sure. All right. Well, I guess history will be the judge of when those eventually come out. They're so far away. Let's talk about some movies that are a little bit more imminent by giving some thumbs to trailers. Of course, you found all the trailers we're about to talk about in the show notes below. Kicking things off, we've got Wildcat, directed by Ethan Hawke, starring Maya Hawke, Rafael Casal, Philip Ettinger, Cooper Hoffman, Steve Zahn, and Laura Linney. In 1950, Flannery O'Connor visits her mother Regina in Georgia when she is diagnosed with lupus at 24 years old. Struggling with the same disease that took her father's life when she was a child and desperate to make a mark as a great writer, this crisis pitches her imagination into a feverish exploration of belief. As she dives deeper into her craft, the lines between reality, imagination, and faith begin to blur, allowing Flannery to ultimately come to peace with her situation and heal a strained relationship with her mother. So, what do you think of this trailer for Ethan Hawke's first film directed?
I'm gonna say one up, one down. I think I was definitely I always take it sometimes when a a biopic sort of film like this gets a trailer, if my main takeaway is I just leave and go, makes me want to Google the person more than actually want to watch the film, I sort of take it as a negative for the. I was like, more interested in learning more about this person than I am watching the movie.
You're like, I want to find out about this person, but I
Not
don't
enough-
want it to be. I don't, but more than I want to
have to
save
be
the
that
experience.
movie.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know if I don't know if this movie looks like it. I'm interested now in this person who I've never heard of, but I don't know if this movie looks like it's going to do the best job at telling me about this person. So I'm going to go 1 up, 1 down.
Yeah, I'm 1 up, 1 down as well. Just the vibes. I know. I mean, My Hawk looks really good. It's an interesting time period, I guess, setting. Obviously, it's interesting the idea of this person who's writing stuff that people just don't like because of the genre and that kind of stuff, and like she's kind of persecuted in that way. Then you add the element of her dying, I guess, at the same time. It's a lot. So this one is releasing in the US on May the 3rd in limited release. There is currently no Australian release yet. Next trailer is for Renegade Nell, created by Sally Wainwright, starring Louisa Harland, Jolie Richardson, Adrian Lester, and Nick Mohammed. Nell Jackson finds herself framed for murder and becomes a female highwaywoman. Well, female highwayman in 18th century England, becoming the most feared highwaywoman in the country. But when a magical spirit called Billy Blinds appears, Nell realizes her destiny is bigger than she imagined. Dylan, what do you think of this trailer for Renegade Nell?
Double thumbs down. I think the main girl looks really like having fun and whatever else, and fun, cool. But then I've got Nick Mohammed shows up, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And there's just an eclectic mix of shit. I don't know. Craig Parkinson's is in it. Shout outs. I got nothing. Yeah, double thumbs down. Didn't look particularly exciting to me. Is it for kids? Am I missing? It's Disney, obviously.
That's my impression.
Yeah.
That it's a one for kids.
Yeah.
Interesting. This one has been on my attention for a while because it's from Sally Wainwright, who was the creator of Happy Valley, the show that you were raving about last year. So yeah, very different tone, I'm assuming, from that.
Yes.
Yeah, it reads like a family kind of film, so TV series. So I'll go 1 up, 1 down. Nick Mohammed, just very odd, and just the constant white light going down her throat is just kind of off-putting.
I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah, you don't need to show it like multiple times. You
I went for like 4 fucking minutes, and I still had no idea what was going on.
So Renegade Nell is coming to Disney Plus on the 29th of March. Next trailer is for Franklin, created by Kirk Ellis and Howard Corder, starring Michael Douglas, Noah Jupe, Mark Durrett, and Ludovine Sagna. In December 1776, Benjamin Franklin is world famous for his electrical experiments, but his passion and power are put to the test when he embarks on a secret mission to France, with the fate of the American independence hanging in the balance. Dylan, what do you think of this trailer for Franklin?
Double thumbs down on this one as well. Interesting story and time period and whatever part of history, I'm sure. This just looked like a joke to me. I really feel like, I don't know, something about the casting, I guess, bothered me a bit. Like everyone. I wouldn't Michael Douglas in particular, but I don't know, everyone just looked out of place. Noah Jupe looked out of place, everyone. But then also tonally, the trailer consistently just seems way too light toned for yet consistently talking about like dire events. But I don't know, it just looked all off to me.
I'm not as harsh. I'll go 1 up, 1 down. But I think Michael Douglas looked fine. Old man playing an old man makes sense. I'm just bummed it's not an adaptation of the Franklin Turtle TV series. I think Michael Douglas would be a good Franklin.
Yeah, you give it 1 up, 1 down.
Yeah. Well, I can't judge. I can't be against it for what it isn't. I got to judge on what it actually is. Yeah, I mean, it looks fine. I guess it's weird. We've seen a bunch of stuff set in France recently.
Apple TV, like
Poland,
fucking,
very set in France.
they're all part of the same cinematic universe.
Yeah, the history of the world universe.
Yeah. Yep.
So yeah, Franklin is coming to Apple TV Plus starting the 12th of April. Next trailer is for The Greatest Hits, directed by Ned Benson, starring Lucy Boynton, Justin H. Min, David Corenswet, and Austin Crute. Harriet finds art imitating life when she discovers certain songs can transport her back in time, literally, while she relives the past through romantic moment. Yeah. While she relives the past through romantic memories of her former boyfriend, her time traveling collides with a burgeoning new love interest in the present. As she takes her journey through time, she must consider whether or not she should change the past. Dylan, what do you think of the trailer for The Greatest Hits?
I'm going to double thumbs up. This looked like a fun rom-com, right? I like Lucy Boynton. Set out to Sing Street. And then, yeah, just looked like a good time. Music, rom-com. You're definitely giving this double thumbs up.
Yeah, I'm giving this double thumbs up as well. I think it's I was skeptical at the beginning. I think the first section of the trailer is not great. Like, you've got him asking her the question about, the most convoluted way to ask that question.
If you could,
if I could save your life, but then we'd never met before.
Yeah.
But much wordier than that.
Yeah.
And then there's like weird silence, and then it cuts into, looks really good. My only other nick is that she's constantly wearing like the big headphones, like on her ears the whole time.
I assume there's like more story reason for that, right? Like, because she even goes to the other guy.
She's like on the date or whatever.
Yeah, and they go to like but they go to a like one of those silent disco things. So I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, my only thought process is like listening to songs consistently,
trying to find
songs that will send her back.
Send her up,
And the other weird thing is the constant use of vinyl, when the most time effective thing would be just MP3s.
I assume there's a story reason, right? Like there have to be a
But then why is she wearing, if it has to be vinyl, why is she wearing headphones?
Oh no, Ash, watch the fucking movie, man.
Yeah, I will watch the movie, and I'm sure I'll nitpick some of those time travel elements.
Like, here's a movie that's for you. Here's your favorite, like basically your favorite genre and everything. You're gonna love this.
Time travel.
Let me fucking nitpick this trailer. Roll the once to nitpick this week. Jesus.
Greatest Hits coming to theaters in the US on April 5th, and then Hulu on the 12th of April. There is no current confirmed Australian release date.
Presumably, Disney or Stan.
I don't know. That Self-Reliance movie starring Jake Johnson released on Hulu, and it's not here yet. So,
okay. Rip, never mind.
Last trailer for this week: The Crow, directed by Rupert Sanders, starring Bill Skarsgård. FKA Twigs? Is that how you pronounce it?
I think you say FKA Twigs, yeah. I've never had to say FKA Twigs out loud before until this podcast. Now I've had to say FKA Twigs out several times.
Or is it formerly known as Twigs?
Well, yeah, I don't know. Like, obviously, that's the thing. I don't know if you say formerly known as or FKA. But anyway, here we are.
Also, Danny Houston. Soulmates Eric Draven and Shelley Webster are brutally murdered when the demons of her dark past, catch up with him. Given the chance to save his true love by sacrificing himself, Draven returns to seek bloody revenge against the killers, traversing the worlds of the living and the dead to put the wrong things right. Dylan, what did you think of this trailer for The Crow?
Double thumbs down. It looks terrible. I'm going to watch it, though. Man, Bill Skarsgård's usually in good shit, though, so I don't know. I'll watch it because of Bill Skarsgård. I feel like it's my answer to this question.
Yeah, I'm one up, one down on this. I think it looks like a early 2000s superhero kind of movie.
They went hard on like the bad boy emo shit. It's crazy.
Yeah, super hard. It's funny that that song preview was on the soundtrack of like some sort of sports game. So I've heard that song constantly, like in menus and that kind of stuff. Just then see it in a movie trailer is weird. Weird, which was maybe took me out of it a little bit. I mean, there's some cool effects and that kind of stuff. Like there's that shot of him pulling the sword out of his chest. That looks pretty good. But yeah, I guess, you know, it's been interesting to see the reaction more than anything to this trailer. As someone who has not watched The Crow.
As I say, the original Crow is a cult classic for a lot of people. So
yes. So a lot of people angry about this trailer. And emo Bill Skarsgård.
I mean, he's meant to be emo, but like, there's just, I don't know, it's
too much.
It's too, I don't know. Maybe it's the tattoos or something. I don't know.
Fucking. Yeah, but it looks like it'll be a fun time at the cinema, but I don't think it's going to have the cultural impact that the Crow with Brandon Lee had.
What how many Crow movies there are?
I think there's 3.
No, there's more than that. There has to be. I swear. Let's look it up. What's the quickest way to find the answer? Sequel.
5th. This is the 5th.
There you go. See?
There was The Crow in 1994, Crow City of Angels 1996, Crow Salvation in 2000, and The Crow Wicked Prayer in 2005.
There you go. What was that? One of these had Kirsten Dunst in it. Don't remember which
and
one.
Then there's a bunch of books and let's see. Oh yeah, well, I guess The Crow is different every time, right?
The actor? Or
the actor.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kristen Dunst was in the 3rd one.
There you go. That's all I remember. She was in it. I watched it.
All right. Well, this is coming to cinemas on the 7th of June in America. Currently, no confirmed Australian release date. All right, let's move into this week's top 3.
Definitely in the top 3.
And over in America, South by Southwest Austin took place, as we like to call it now that we've got a South by Southwest here in Australia.
Yeah,
so this week's top 3 is top 3 South by Southwest film things we're excited to see. So Dylan, what's your number 3?
Now, I would like to clarify, I tried to do good. I tried to not pick anything that we've talked about or, you know.
So the Fall Guys on your list, Monkey Man's not on the list.
Mm-hmm. No.
Civil War's not on the list, even though those are all pretty well received.
Yep.
I would say with the reaction.
Yep. None of those
they're not like 100% Rotten Tomatoes or anything, but
try to pick new things, you know.
Yeah. Okay.
Number 3, Grand Theft Hamlet.
Dylan, my number 3 is Grand Theft Auto.
So this is a documentary apparently about people who in lockdown decided that they're going to attempt to make Hamlet within like Grand Theft Auto, like using it. I mean, good time. Very funny. Apparently in that article you shared about the movies, they're saying like it covers their like casting and everything. I know. Weird. To cross between things. Just an idea, hey.
Yeah, I mean, looks really good. Obviously, it won the South by Southwest Best Documentary or the equivalent award. So obviously that was very well received and enjoyed. And yeah, the idea of trying to stage Hamlet in Grand Theft Auto is an interesting concept. Even though like role play in those kind of games is not uncommon.
That's role playing. They're trying to make like some real shit, you know, Hamlet.
Yeah, I guess how far are they going? Are they trying to act out each segment in one continuous play?
I hope so.
Or are they like doing cuts? Or I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. So yeah, Grand Theft Hamlet. Dylan, what's your number 2?
Number 2, Movie Pass, Movie Crash. This is about the Movie Pass thing that they had in America, which we never had here, but would constantly hear people obviously talk about over on Twitter.
How great it is.
And and every podcast, everyone would talk about how great Movie Pass was. And then I remember just waking up one day and apparently it was over. and
Like,
everyone had to go
we've
back
been
to
losing so much money.
yeah. They're like, we're fucking rupturing money, and then everyone was like, that's wild. Anyway, that was good while it lasted, and I was like, that did sound good while it lasted. Anyway, so a movie about that, I'm intrigued to see. Because it has the two people in it, the founders, whatever. So yeah, here I want to hear them explain their pitch and
Their
how they-
thought process and
Yeah.
how they thought it was a good idea.
Yep. So yeah, that's my number 2.
My number 2 is a dark comedy called My Dead Friend Zoe, which follows a U.S. Army veteran who's returned back to the U.S. And is, despite her family's help, she is still seeing, I guess, the ghost or the memory of her dead friend Zoe, who she kind of interacts with, despite counseling and that kind of stuff. Seems to be like a study on grief and that kind of stuff, starring Song Sonequa Martin Green, best known for Star Wars Discovery, and then Natalie Morales plays her best friend, Zoe. So yeah, sounds like a heartwarming, sad, funny time. So yeah, they got my attention. Dylan, what's your number 1?
My number 1 is We're All Gonna Die. Both a movie and a statement. So this is a new film from. Well, the reason I caught onto it is just because it's directed by the people from. I can't remember what their production company is anyway. It's Freddie Wong and Matthew Arnold, right? So they did the bunch of YouTube stuff, Video Game High School, which was a really good series that went for like 3 seasons, and I can't even remember where it originally aired. Anyway, YouTube or some shit. It's Freddie Wong and friends, right? That's the pitch. I've always watched these people's stuff. They're doing a proper movie now, quote unquote proper movie, I guess is the thing here. And the synopsis I'll read from IMDb because it's quite funny. It just says, in the near future, everyone's got used to the 10,000-mile alien tentacle that materialized in the sky, and a struggling beekeeper and a grieving wanderer must join together and take a dangerous road trip to get their teleported stuff back. No idea how any of that links together makes any sense. Anyway, yep, keen to watch it.
All right. My number 1. We just discussed my love of time travel movies. So I managed to find one that was at South by Southwest. Omni Loop. So it stars Mary Louise Parker and Ayo Edebiri. So it follows a woman from Miami, Florida, who decides to solve time travel in order to go back and be the person she always intended to be. So from other reports, it's about a woman who constantly takes a bunch of blue pills that allow her to go back in time 1 week. And she's constantly just continuing this time loop for reasons. And until she kind of breaks her routine, and then she becomes the events of the film happen. So yeah, time travel goodness. Definitely interested. Apparently Mary Louise Parker is fantastic. She never has really gotten a big break in movies. She's obviously appeared in a bunch of TVs and that kind of stuff. Directed by Pamela Adlon, who did The Better Things, I think is a TV series, which is a very well received sitcom kind of thing. So yeah, keen to check. Oh no, this was the one by Bernardo Brito. Sorry, I'm thinking a different one. So yeah, never mind. Yeah, this one sounds good still though. Dylan, this week, what do you want to watch?
Well, Immortal. No. What's it called? What's that film I'm watching called?
Immaculate?
Immaculate, eh? Yeah, that one. Excited for it. Keen as. Would never forget the title of it.
Yeah, apparently.
Super keen to watch that. Immaculate, new horror movie, Sydney Sweeney. Ready to go Wednesday. TV show front. I don't think there's anything, to be honest. X-Men?
X-Men 97.
X-Men 97.
It's a good choice. I'm excited to see Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. Okay. Looks good. Lots of cool cast members. I enjoyed Afterlife. So I'm keen for that. And then, go TV front. I want to watch 3 Body Problem, which is coming to Netflix. See what the fuck this thing actually is. You know?
What is it?
It's the new Benioff Weiss project about people. I don't know. They've got the visor thing, the VR helmet thing.
That's right. Yeah.
That's right, that thing.
That thing. Yeah.
I haven't watched any trailers since it was shown that first time, so I'm excited to jump in. So obviously based on critically acclaimed sci-fi novels, so very intriguing. Let us know what you're excited to watch this week by going to explosion.com/Twitter or jump to Discord at explosion.com/Discord. If you want to help us out here, what do you want to watch? Leave us a review on Apple Podcasts or on Podchaser. Leave us 5 stars, then you can leave 5 stars or just tell people about the show. And if you've enjoyed this episode, thought it was worth $1, head on over to our Ko-fi page at explosionnetwork.com/support. Thank you very much for listening. Until next time, keep watching stuff, I guess.